Hey guys, Arduino over here with a pretty simple project for you this time. Simple, but I think it's pretty cool, which is this decoration lamp piece. And the particular coolness about it is that you know that hard Arduino, you can only power 5 volts. So unless you hook it up to some batteries, you have to have a power supply hooked on it all the time. And it's kind of a hassle to have a small decoration piece like this just laying around, right? So I figured out a solution for that. For small projects like this, you can actually use a cell phone charger. As you can see right over here, this is a cell phone, simply a cell phone charger, to which I solder a wire to carry the 5 volts and the ground to the transformer. So let me just disconnect it so you can see. There you go, it's working pretty well. And now let me plug it back in and it's shut on. Now let me turn it on. There you go. As you just noticed, this decoration piece is activated by an object detection sensor over here, which works with infrared lights. It has a transmitter and a receiver, and it can detect when objects are onto a certain proximity. As you see, let me show you. It has to wait till the for loop cycle to end, obviously, but then turn it on. Very easy. And so I have a potentiometer over here in which I regulate the speed. Let me turn the speed higher to maximum, and you can see the light flashing and changing colors pretty quickly. I don't know if you can see that. I think it is visible enough. There you go. Now let me turn the potentiometer and you'll see the speed decrease. There you go. And so now I have to wait longer because of the for loop is running slower. But if you wait long enough, I think it's supposed to be getting there soon. There you go. Oh, I turned it back on. I have to increase the delay so that you don't have to run away with your hand. It works as a toggle function. So other than that, let's take a look at the sketch. Okay guys, so the sketch for the RGB lamp is actually pretty simple. It looks complex, but it really isn't. It is very practical. So you can see that I start by including some variables. Then I go into the setup, I initiate serial communication, I activate the pin modes accordingly. This object detector is the object detector sensor, the infrared detector sensor. And so I give a signal as to say that the sketch has begun in the setup by turning on and off the RGB lights. Now keep in mind that this is an RGB module, sorry, and 255 means off and 0 means on, because the common is a positive and not the negative. And so then we go into the loop. Now all I do in the loop is just this small if block over here, which is if I detect so when the object detector sensor is not detecting anything, it puts out the signal 1. So if the object detector puts out signal 0, it means that there is an object in front of it. In this case, a hand to activate it. And so if the sensor is activated, and then we go into this do function. This do function will happen while the object detector is not detecting anything, or in other words, outputting the signal 1. Now in this loop over here, in this do loop over here, is where I call the function the RGB automatic function. Now you may be familiar with this because this is actually the same code I use on my Arduino multitask platform to give the RGB a cycle of interchanging colors. It's quite long, but it's basically a sequence of for loops that change the colors. And then on that same do, I have this serial print, which this was just, it's actually useless. It was just while I was building the code to keeping track of the speed at which the cycle is going on. Now, how do I control the speed? The speed is in between each for loop of 50 sequences. The RGB auto cycle is equal to 50. Let me show it over here. Where is it? Here you go. 40. Actually, 40. I'm sorry. So in between each for loop, I call the pot speed function, and that's pot speed function is the one that is going to update the value of the speed to which the for loops occur according to where the potentiometer is turned. You can see that potentiometer speed function over here. So I store into a pot value variable the analog read of the potentiometer pin, and then with the map function I turn those numbers between 1023 to 0, which are the readings minimum and maximum and minimum of the potentiometer, and I range them between 40 and 1, which is then going to be stored in this variable, which is a pot speed, and the velocity of the sequences of the for loops will run at that value because it is stored in this line over here. And that is how I change the speed for the for loops and the changing of the colors. So this is the sketch. It seems pretty long, but that is because of the for loops. You need quite a bit of them to make a nice looking effect on the RGB, but it's worth it. But in the end, it is very simple and practical. So as you can see, after using a cell phone charger to connect the Arduino, you don't have to use batteries, which are a big pack and are kind of a hassle for such a small project like this. It would be just an overkill. All you need is a socket nearby. The wire is pretty easy to handle. It's just like a cell phone charger. Same thing. And just plug it back in. Put your hand on and turn it on. So I hope you enjoyed this video, this short but pretty nice project, and I hope to see you next time. Thanks for watching. This is ProJard Green, over and out.